get started, we're going to start out with a prayer. So if everybody would just, I guess, bow your head, close your eyes, we'll say a quick prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for bringing us all here tonight. We thank you in advance for a better tomorrow. I ask that you bless all our panelists, bless all our viewers, and I pray that you get all the glory and honor is yours. Thank you so much for bringing us all together on this amazing night. And we thank you in advance for everything that's going to happen in the future. We know that this is the beginning of something great, and we're thankful for that. So, in God's name, amen.
Amen.
All right. All right, so we're gonna get this thing started. We're gonna go ahead, start off with a big island of St. John. So we're gonna introduce our panelists. Start off with the beautiful and lovely Miss Andretti.
Hello, good night. My name is Andretti Samuel Williams, and I am a associate broker with Holiday Homes on St. John. I'm also a partner in my family company, which is Aqua Blue Car Rental here as well.
All right, thank you for joining us tonight. We're excited about the conversation. Next up, we have Mr. Clarence, aka Sauce.
Good night, good night, good night. My name is Clarence Stephenson. I'm currently the Deputy Chief for the Virgin Fire Service on St. John. Most of you might know me from working on a ferry for a lot of years with Barlack Ventures. I was a boat captain. I'm happy to be here tonight. Let's start.
All right, thanks for thank you for being here. And then we have the next kind of big island of St. Thomas. We have Miss Janelle.
Good evening. I am Janelle Sarauw, a senator in the 33rd legislature. And that's it, right? That was an introduction.
Yes. All right, and last but not least, SWANKS.
Good night, everyone. My name is, I don't know if I have to do the government thing, but hopefully I don't. You could call me Swanks. Everybody know me as Swanks. And yeah, musician, producer, and just proud Virgin Islander, you know what I mean? And ready to talk and see exactly, you know, everybody's views and hear exactly where we going with this whole entire thing.
All right, awesome. So everybody has introduced themselves, and we're gonna get started. So we wanted to talk tonight about everything that's been going on. You know, the most current thing is, of course, COVID. So we're gonna kind of talk about how COVID has, you know, I guess, affected your career or your lifestyle, what challenges you faced, and then talk about, you know, how life was pre-COVID, you know? So, you know, I knew someone that was a full-time employee for the government, but, you know, had aspirations and goals to start a business outside of her 8 to 5 and start her own role. And, you know, with the workload of her 8 to 5 and just, you know, being busy all the time, she just really never got around to it. But then COVID hit, you know, she got laid off and, you know, had more time. So instead of kind of waiting for an employment check or, you know, waiting for someone else to make a opportunity for her, she took that time to then really go for her endeavors and start her business. And now she's flourishing in her business. So I guess it was kind of COVID was bittersweet for her. So, you know, have any of you guys experienced anything similar to that?
Definitely. Me especially, probably. I don't know about everybody else, but yeah, definitely on my end, you know, I do music for a living, so, you know, without mass gatherings kind of definitely shut down my whole entire operation. So COVID really hit me in a different kind of way. But I mean, we are very resilient people and we find ways to make do, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, COVID also was a break. I feel like was a break I needed, you know what I mean, from just going full 100, playing every weekend, performing every weekend. So that blessing and a curse in disguise, you know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, you just kind of have to play the cards you're dealt because it's something that we all can't control. But at the same time, yeah, definitely, COVID, COVID did some stuff, definitely for me in my life for sure.
Okay. What about you, Andretti?
So COVID in the real estate industry, it did slow, actually things did progress a little bit faster when it came to St. John. And the reason for that is because a lot of people ended up wanting to invest in St. John. As far as challenges, because of it, I think it did more good than bad. As I stated, we had more people coming down and actually buying houses. The only challenge that we had is being able to show those houses because we couldn't have them in our vehicles. We couldn't really have that one-on-one with them in the office and so forth. So that was the only challenge that we had when it came to the real estate industry, was being able to actually show the houses.
Right, right. Which is you know, you would think that because of that industry, you wouldn't even think that it would present challenges to you. So that's interesting to hear. What about?
Yeah, it didn't have much challenges at all when it came to the real estate aspect of it. Now, for the car rental, our family business, we did get hit there. And that's because everything was pretty much shut down.
Okay.
And we didn't have a lot of time on our hands. So just like, you know, your friend, she was able to create business ideas and so forth. We also had that downtime to do the same, as well as improve our business, for me as well.
Right. What about you, Honorable?
Well, personally, you know, we lost the freedom of touch with the pandemic and the inability to actually congregate and to embrace each other. But and you appreciate the freedom of touch because during the pandemic, my grandmother died, and she was, you know, instrumental in my life, and she was in St. Kitts, and we spent many summers and holidays. Even lived in St. Kitts briefly after Hurricane Marilyn, so it was difficult to attend a funeral on the internet. And my mom had to travel, and of course, that was a case unto itself because those islands are closed. So you learn to appreciate and spend more time with family. That's from a personal standpoint. And I guess I'm the government's representative tonight. But from the government standpoint, it allows us the opportunity to rethink, refocus, recalibrate, reorganize our economy. I'm not trying to minimize the importance of tourism, but it has shown us that with any business interruption, well, it has shown us that through weather or any pandemic, there will always be a business interruption in such a very fickle industry. And it's shown us the need to diversify the economy and the need for us to move the economy more in the 21st century, the importance of having a tech sound infrastructure, because we did so many things so manually for so long and going into various businesses not being able to do things online. And now the pandemic has forced us to be more tech savvy as well. So from the government standpoint, I would say the pandemic has shown us how to just look at our tech infrastructure and the fact that we can't continue to depend solely on tourism to be our bread and our butter. If we're to be honest, St. Croix is carrying the Virgin Islands right now through the Lime Tree Bay Terminal and through the Cruise and Diageo internal revenue matching funds. Those industries have not been interrupted with the pandemic. So those are some lessons learned.
Okay, that's very interesting. What about you, Sauce?
Yeah, you know, fire departments across the country are now confronted with the additional problem of providing services while keeping our firefighters and our community safe. Here at the VI Fire Service, we have made some adjustments to account for the coronavirus and limit exposure to our crew. We've implemented temperature checks prior to entering any fire station, during briefings in the morning. The members are wearing a mask during shift change. Also, the EMTs that respond on calls, no matter what the call is, they have to wear the full PPE on every call.
Right.
So, and that consists of a mask, the face shield, the gong. So they definitely changed the way we respond. Basically, every call now is a hazmat, potential hazmat call.
Okay. Okay. So, Swanks, what are some of the challenges that you face pre-COVID?
Well, I mean, pre-COVID, for me, the biggest challenge for me was the passing of Kylo. You know what I mean? Before that, everything was kind of smooth for me. But after Kylo passed, and especially he passed the same year as, we are just getting over the hurricane and everything. So right after the hurricane, while we gain on our 2 feet again as one unit, the Virgin Islands. I lost my best friend, you know what I mean? And ever since, it's crazy because ever since he passed, like you would think like, Taliban, we kind of put an end to that era of our music career. And we end up starting something new, but it was kind of supposed to be temporary in a sense. Within Big Band, it was supposed to just be like just to get through the gigs that we had kind of commit to as Taliban, you know what I mean? So it wasn't supposed to be even going until right now, you know what I mean? But I mean, living up, like I said, I live off of music, so it was hard to just let it go financial wise. But for the most part, like I didn't, like I said, COVID was a low key, a blessing for me because it was the break I needed from all the music and all the traveling and just all the expectations, man. Because to be honest with you, I up to this day, like I wouldn't let me don't lie. I wouldn't say I haven't had time to grieve. I just still ain't do it properly. You know what I mean? Because COVID presented a different set of obstacles again now that I had to kind of just like suck it up and just deal with what I have to deal with, you know what I mean? So I mean the grieving part I still working on it, but I mean I've come to terms with the fact that he's gone, and but that's basically pre-COVID that been the biggest obstacle for me, just like kind of understanding that like I have to do what I'm doing without Kylo, you know what I mean? And that was my right hand man. That was my guy. That's who I if I think of something and he would know how to finish it. If I want to do something, he would know exactly how to deliver it. You know what I mean? And it was like losing him was like losing a part of me, and I mean it hasn't been the same since. But like I say, you learn to just adapt and work with the cards you're dealt basically. So pre-COVID been, I wouldn't say it was like extremely difficult work wise, but it was just like on my mind, like mentally, it was very, very frustrating because it's like I know I wanted to grieve and just I know I needed a break, but then it's like I still got live, still got bills, you have so much promoters and fans and stuff just depending, and they just expect. And is very hard to in my position, because I don't know about anybody else, but for me it's like it's kind of like the music of the Virgin Islands kind of on my back. Like I got carried on my back in a sense, and not that it's not a blessing. It's definitely a blessing, and I know for sure anybody who doing music would probably kill to be in my shoes. To me, like that is a privilege for real, and I'm forever grateful for it. But just how it happened, like the time it happened, is like I wasn't built for it. You know what I mean? And I had to kind of get built for it. I had to kind of to just get myself on target and just be like, you know what, just do it, dog. Just do it. Just be there, just create music and just, but when it comes to like creating music and performing and everything, all of that, I just had to kind of say, you know what, everything I'm doing is for Kylo, and it's for the fans, you know what I mean, and for the people that believe in me and the people that don't want me to quit, I don't want me to give up. And my music probably relating to them and probably, what I mean, helping them get through the day, and you know what I mean. So I don't really know. I get messages all the time of people like letting me know, like, thank you for what you're doing, I mean, your music, and you know how humble I am and different stuff like that. And I respect that, and I definitely thank you guys, the listeners and the fans, and my family and everything, for supporting, and continuing, just keeping me in your prayers, and just making sure that, like, I good, what I mean, because at the end of the day, that was the biggest thing for me, my mental health. Like, pre-COVID, it was just like, man, like, I ain't getting a break, what I mean, even though I want it, I can't get a break, what I mean. So for me, it was just that, just losing my dog, man, my best friend. It was definitely, that was the biggest blow for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Son. What about you, Janelle?
You got me turn to my most. What was one of my issues pre-COVID?
Yeah. Well, or any struggles career-wise, even pre-COVID, pre-Irma, just, yeah.
Well, every day you wake up as a senator is a struggle. And not to say that I don't like the job, but you carry the weight of the territory on your shoulders. My phone rings from 7 a.m. into the night. And, sometimes you have to put a phone on do not disturb if you want to sleep. So I got elected in 2017, and then the double hurricanes came right after, and then came elections, and then came a new term, and the day I was sworn in, actually, my grandfather died. So it was a painful swearing in, and like SWANKS, I didn't really get a chance to grieve. You just take off running a day, you take the oath of office, and then even when my grandmother dying, I still didn't take the time to grieve. So on a personal note, it would be that, like, not knowing how to grieve, and just, I guess, I'm a very effective senator because maybe I am running from not dealing with those emotions, because grandparents have a very important role in your life. And my grandfather was a politician, the longest serving Speaker of the House in St. Kitts. He lay in state when he died. And he's the reason why I am, because he is. So I think that would be probably one of my most difficult moments before the storms. And of course, the weight of the territory, trying to become fiscally sound, trying to figure out, do we borrow? How do we not have a payless payday? How do we move projects ahead? So there's so many different aspects to, to life before the pandemic, and I think that would be it.
Okay. Now, Andretti, I know, pre-COVID, I'm not sure, you could tell us a little bit more on, how long you've been a broker and been into real estate, but I know pre-COVID we had, another devastation, which was Irma. So, did you face any challenges with Irma career-wise, or even how it affected your life, or did you face any challenges even before Irma or after?
I feel like a lot of my challenges came when I first started out real estate. As for the hurricane, I don't think that I've had any challenges. I just had to kind of ride out the storms just like everybody else did. But when it comes to my career, most of my challenges did come when I first started out. I knew that I wanted to be in the real estate industry from when I was in high school. That's when everything kind of started. My 12th grade year, I had my business classes when I ended up going, my teacher, Miss Williams, she was like, Andretti, what exactly do you want to do when you finish school? And I told her that I wanted to get into real estate. So that was kind of my start when it came into the industry. She was able to find a firm that would hire me in the real estate industry in St. Thomas. And I started working for the company for my 12th grade year. Then I decided that I wanted to take another step and not just be a representative or an assistant in the office. I wanted to be an agent. So I decided that I wanted to study for my real estate license, I ended up talking to a lot of the different agents within the firm. And I think talking to them kind of put in my mind, maybe this isn't the best career for me, because everyone that I spoke to had something negative to say, whether it was, oh, the test is so hard, I took it 3 or 4 times. So I had that negative thought in my mind, and I didn't want to take the test. So I ended up working again right after school with the same firm. And while I was working with them, I decided that I wanted to get my license. I remember talking to my dad, my mom, as well as my husband, and telling them that I wanted to take my real estate exam. And they all encouraged me. So I had that encouragement, those backbones right there with me. So I ended up going to Singapore with my mom. I took my test. And when I passed the test, first try, which I was happy for, I had ended up asking different agencies if they would be able to sponsor me on St. John, because I was in St. Thomas and it was a bit difficult. That was my challenge, was being able to get an agency to sponsor me to take my license. To take the test to get my license. But after I was able to get my license, I did try again and went to different agencies, and I was able to get in. So once I got in, I started doing my real estate and working property management as well. So my challenges basically came in with, trying to get into the industry the first time. So when I got into the real estate company and I started doing property management and real estate, I was able to make a living, because as we all know, real estate is commission-based. It's something that you would definitely have to work hard in order to make a living and be successful in it. And I knew right then and there that those were my challenges, was being able to come into an industry and still be able to be successful. So I just sat down and I kind of planned out everything and decided this is where I want to be in so amount of years. And what I ended up doing was working at a bank. And that gave me that stepping stone to kind of build me financially, to then be prepared to be on the real estate as a realtor. Once I was finished with the bank and doing the real estate as well, the property management, I was able to fulfill all those, negative thoughts and be successful. Right now, I'm still in the mix. I'm a shy person, as you probably know, everybody already could tell. Yeah. But that's just basically my challenges that I had, was being able to get into the industry. And I feel like a lot of it did come with self-doubt, because I had to deal with the negative energy and the negative sayings from other people telling me, hey, it's really hard to get into this industry. It's not easy. And it's not. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it that it's easy and it's something that anybody could do. It's for the thick skin. But I feel like at that time, if I had more of an encouragement and more people within the industry telling me, hey, this is what you have to expect, but this is how you could kind of overcome it. I feel like I would have been a lot better off back then, and a lot more successful now. But I still feel that I'm with a really great company, which is Holiday Homes, and I have a very good supportive team. So that all played a good role in building me to where I am right now. So those were my challenges. It's just being able to get in,
Yeah. And that's so interesting that you mentioned that, because I was actually having a conversation with some of SAS firefighters the other night. And we were kind of talking about the same thing, that it's our generation, and sometimes people in our community is almost like a dog eat dog. Like they don't want to, you know, when you make it, you got to throw down the ladder, you know, and then don't just throw down the ladder, but you got to throw down the manual on to how to climb the ladder. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting that's one of the challenges that you face, but I'm so happy that you overcome, and so proud of you. I definitely admire you. You know, I consider you to be like the silent beast, you know, you're kind of behind the scenes and humble, but
that's just me, you know. I like to be behind the scenes all the time. I don't really like to, and I think that all comes with my, you know, self-doubt that I have, but
well, that's interesting, and it's I think it's definitely motivation for others who may be timid but powerful. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're definitely a silent beast. So all right. So Sas, what about you? I know you're very always been really involved with the kids, with sports, just involved with the community. So you know, I know before when I was growing up, you was a captain. You know, what challenges would you consider that you faced career-wise coming up?
Coming up, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a boat captain. So when I talk to the kids all the time and I tell them you could do whatever you want to do, I'm living proof. Because at 4 years old, if you ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I want to tell you a boat captain. And then I received my calling in like 2003. I signed up for the fire service. I got in 2006. I thought they were going to call me, but the fire service has been the best job in the world. For me, I've been able to move up the ladder career-wise. It's afforded me with opportunities that I couldn't dream of. I've traveled around the world training. During the hurricanes, we were actually on shift. And the team actually became stronger that night because when the Guy Benjamin School went, it actually came up into the fire station. And we were there holding the door, taking 20-minute rotations to keep the wind from coming in to mash up the rest of the station. The 6 of us that worked that night, we will forever be banded. Our band grew even stronger that night.
Wow.
Walked to Cruise Bay to check on my mom. Fire service, the station in Cruise Bay was mashed up as well. We found the guys, they were good, thank God. And we in a recovery stage. Before COVID now, you know, with the kids who were just about to start the Boys and Girls Club, you know, the problem I St. John, we don't have any facilities, anything for our kids. So that became a challenge. We were close to our MOU with the Department of Education right before COVID hit. And we're looking for a location. It's a shame that our island doesn't have any facilities or things for our kids. I'm still dumbfounded at the fact that we don't even have an indoor gymnasium. So we have to do better for our kids. Basically, you know, there's a lot of challenges that we could talk about, especially when it comes to facilities and programs for our kids. But career-wise, I think I made the best decision joining the fire service. Have a lot of challenges infrastructure-wise, but we're working on them, and with the help of my good friend who on the panel with us, we're going to be able to do some stuff going forward.
Definitely. So Janelle, I know I said I was going to leave politics out of this, but I just want you to touch a little bit about how you know, your role kind of affects the things that's going on in our community, as far as, you know, just the difference in like what Sas touched on, you know, us not having a any after school programs, you know, and just different things in our community. We could sit here all day, but I know I was talking with someone the other day and they didn't even really know, you know, what a senator's role is in the different things that's happening in the community. So, you know, not to give a whole bio or tutorial, but, you know, just touch a little bit on, you know, how your role affects the community and why it's important to vote.
Let's start with the last question. It's important to vote because your great grandmother did not have the right to vote. We always had civilian governors who were under naval rule, and then we got the right to become self-governing in 1970. That was yesterday. So we're on the heels of the Hamilton-Jackson Day, which is November 1st, and elections are November 3rd. And it doesn't matter to who you support, but people died, they sacrificed, they fought, and, you know, we had women that gathered at Seneca Falls Convention to reach for the ballot to push for Amendment 19. Amendment 13 abolished slavery, 14 gave citizenship. 13 abolished slavery, 14 citizenship, and 15 the right to vote. And of course, people around the world died for the right. So if anything, the simple answer would be, you owe it to your ancestors to show up and vote. And then so many millennials get on Facebook and they post, they complain, they post some more. And we're so quick to click like or comment, but we won't get in our cars and drive to the polling site to vote, you know? So the same way we could line up outside of a jam, it's the same way we can line up and exercise the right to vote. Insofar as the government is concerned, the role of a senator, we tend to think that senators are the end all of government. We don't hold commissioners accountable, and it's a pet peeve of mine, to be honest. You have a pothole and your roads are not, roads are bad. Before we pick up the phone and we call a commissioner of public works, the senators ain't fixing the road, and then when you have senators that go out and take photo ops with a rake in their hand, fixing a pothole, then we send the wrong message. Senators are not super commissioners. We have oversight responsibility, but the Virgin Islands Code and the Organic Act Section 7, 8, and 9 allows us to appropriate funds, to allow for the governor to borrow, to issue bonds. We approve appointments, we make policy. That's what we do. But too often, because our commissioners remain inaccessible, the first step is to the elected representatives, which is okay, I don't mind doing it. But at some point, when you pay in a commissioner 6 figures, and deputy commissioners and assistant commissioners and special assistants, at some point we have to work in tandem, you know. So that would be the role of a senator, which our primary duty is to enact legislation and to write policy. We're looking at crime, for example, and we have some of the most draconian laws in the United States. You know, we have, if we strengthen any other crime law, we will vote against a crime against humanity. And but it's a matter of enforcement and implementation, and that's the problem that we have. We have an apprenticeship bill that we've passed. The apprenticeship program has been funded. We see so many young men on the streets detached, and that's where the apprenticeship bill comes in. You have so much construction happening, and the Department of Labor has to move the apprenticeship bill. Find those young men in the corner. Listen, you can be a mason, you can teach you how to paint, you can be a plumber, whatever their interest is, and that's how you impact the economy. So you get them off the streets, crime is reduced, and you know they're paying taxes, they're paying grocery receipt taxes, they're paying individual income taxes, and the economy begins to flourish. But these are the things that we're not looking at. You know, government has a trickle-down effect, and I have a duty. So that is really the role of the Senate. And I just told you to vote because people are going to vote, period.
Period. Yeah, and I think that's the issue too. I think sometimes we don't realize that there's a chain of command, you know, so, you know, sometimes I think that it's, I guess, bittersweet for you because you're so involved in the community and you're so passionate, especially about youth and young adults, to me. And so I guess, you know, when we see certain problems, we just automatically just want to call senator. But I think it's definitely important to know that there's a, you know, there's a way to go about things and a chain of command. So, you know, that's, thank you for sharing. And, you know, hopefully that makes a small difference and people kind of have a better understanding and know who to pick up the phone when their car mash up because the roads ain't paved.
And sorry not to interject, but your first point of contact with a lot of executive branch matters, should be the administrator. Now you could call my office because I'm here to solve and I work on behalf of you. But an executive mayor, the administrator is the mayor technically of a town. So your administrators will be the first. Shakima Jones will be the first call that you make if there's something happening, and she's a contact point to the commissioners, because administrators are the eyes and ears of the governor. How our government is structured. So call me if you need help, but I want people to also utilize their respective administrators as well.
Yeah, definitely good to know. So I don't know if you guys are seeing the chat, but the chat is on the feed on Facebook Live. But Andretti, Mr. Michael Jackson was commenting on your frogs. And
Listen, we live in an island, okay? They're everywhere. Just happen to be that my house windows is open.
welcome to paradise, right? And so Mr. Joaquin Castillo, he said that that's something that the VI lacks in the younger generation, is that a lot of dreams get crushed instead of motivated. So I think he was kind of touching on what you were talking about. So hopefully that's something that we could maybe change even with this platform, and just, even hearing your story, SWANKS, SAS, all of you guys, that you guys face all those challenges. And I know it could be really, really hard, but to see that you persevered through all of that is really just, you could use it as motivation, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but you know what I'm trying to say. So Swanks, I wanted to ask you, pre December 7th, COVID, when you were in high school, you knew that you were going to be Swanks?
I would lie if I say no, and I would lie if I say yeah. So I was very unsure. I was into sports. I was an athlete, I 6'3", so I mean, I did utilize my height. I was playing volleyball and basketball. I was a part of the junior national basketball team for the Virgin Islands when I was 17, and we went to Puerto Rico. And we competed in the national tournament. And volleyball was pretty much the same thing. I mean, I feel I was an elite athlete. But during my senior year of high school, I ended up blowing my knee during a lunch league game. So that kind of ended my dream of dealing with sports. And I always used to play music in church. So music was always like something that was like by default. It's like I low-key had to do it, and I was to live in my parents' house. I could drum, I have to drum. Boy, go up there on the drums. Boy, go up there on the piano. And it was like, okay, cool. So I kind of had to do it. But the whole producer band vibes like that's just me and a couple of friends, man. Like we all had band, and me, Slushy, a guy named Slushy. We used to call him Slushy. That ain't his real name. His name is L'Oreal. But we call him Slushy, PJ, Nick. And we literally sit down in the band room, and we were like, yo, let me start a band, man. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? We sit down, we think about names, and I came up with the name Styly Band. And so, I mean, the dream of becoming the person I am today kind of started late, but it was, for me, I would say it's the best decision I made, you know what I mean? Because I live a happy life, man. Like when I say happy, meaning like I have fun doing what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Like it don't feel like work ever. You know what I mean? Now it does. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Now it does, but because over the time so much has happened, you know what I'm saying? But before it was just like, shoot, we playing music, you know what I mean? We having fun. We in the clubs. We are around our friends every day. It didn't seem like work at all. Even though it was work, it was a lot of late nights and a lot of practicing and all of that stuff. But it was so easy to deal with because it was fun at the same time. So during high school, I was really into sports. I wasn't really I wouldn't say I wasn't into music, but music wasn't what I wanted to do. It became what I had to do, because of my accident. But yeah, definitely I am forever grateful that I had that plan B. You know what I mean? I attended UVI after high school for about I want to say a semester and a half. I did the first semester. Did really good. I actually didn't even have to take any placement tests and different stuff because of my GPA and everything. How I graduate, because I graduated from high school with honors and different stuff like that. So like I didn't have to do a lot of the little prerequisites and different stuff like that to get into college and stuff like that. But so I went to UVI and I tell my mother straight up, I was like, "Mommy, you're wasting money because I gonna fail. I telling you, I gonna fail. I wanted to. I just at that point, I just wanted to do music. You know what I mean? And I feel like college. I, I I would never tell nobody don't go college or don't go after your education or whatever the case is. But I am a firm believer that college is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you have a gift, if you have a trade, if you gifted in that way, you know what I mean, explore it, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I've been in college, and when I was in college straight out of high school, I was in college with people 50 years old and 60 years old. So I mean, you could always go back. You know what I'm saying? You could always go back, but a lot of opportunities gonna hit you in your face, and it's gonna be hard to kind of pass it up and be like, man, I can't do this because I go in college, and it's like, man, sometimes it's just difficult. So I mean, depending on your situation, you know what I mean, I'm an advocate for college, of course, but if you do have a dream, if you do have if you're talented and if you know you have a gift, and you know what I mean, use it, because right now that's what, honestly speaking, that's what gained a lot of people through COVID. If you look at it, like a lot of people who could braid hair and you know what I mean, do nails, and you know what I mean, just different talents and different gifts. You do artwork, you're making flyers, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's like just little stuff like that. So I mean, I feel like it's kind of not, I wouldn't say dumb, but that probably wouldn't be the right word. But it's kind of weird to not like try to invest in that side of you. You know what I mean, or devote some time into that. So I mean, if you are attending college, you know what I mean, stick with it. You know what I mean, do your thing, and I wish you all the best. You know what I mean? But if you're not as into the college vibe, and you have a gift, you have a talent, man, chase your dream. You know what I mean, utilize your talent, utilize your gift, and go after it. 'Cause everybody different, everybody life different, everybody going be in different situations. And for me, my situation was just, man, I just wanted to play music. I still just want to play music. Like, it don't, like, my whole mindset towards what I want to do in life hasn't changed. Like, I know for sure music is what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? In some way, shape, or form, it might not be this exact same thing. Hopefully, in the next couple months, before summer 2021, I could, sign some young producers and get them some placements with some, mainstream soca artists, and even down to, like, you know what I mean, and even bigger, you know what I mean. But my goal is just, I know I am my way out. When I say that, meaning like you gonna have a time where, I have to, I ain't the type, I ain't gonna wait till I fall off to like retire or, stop doing, you know what I mean? I gonna know when my time is up. I gonna know when it's my time to just, pass the torch, you know what I mean, and give somebody else a torch, and kind of invest in the youth and do it. So that's what I looking at right now. I looking at what's next. I always want to know what's next. I always trying to stay up to the time, and trying to figure out what's next, you know what I mean. And I realize that the youths don't have much like hope. They don't have much to, they ain't waking up to much, you know what I mean, opportunities. And if I could present opportunities to the youth, you know what I mean, in any way, shape, or form, that's definitely the goal. So hopefully by 2021 I could sign, like I said, sign. When I say sign, meaning like actually record label type vibes, like, yo, I could put these guys in the studio with certain artists and get them placed on certain songs and different stuff. And while I still working on my career and figuring myself out, and I trying to get placed myself, while all of that's still happening, that's the reason I have to kind of push back the deadline, because I still trying to figure it out. You feel me? I think that's my neighbor playing some music. So if you could hear some music, I so sorry. Yeah, my neighbor lit right now. But yeah, man. Hopefully by 2021 summer, I could definitely do that for the younger generation, and you know what I mean, just teach them and help them access get a little access to their dreams a little bit sooner. You know what I mean? The same help I didn't have, you know what I mean, provide them with the help I didn't have when I was coming up and different stuff like that. So that's the goal, man. Before COVID, it was just I wasn't sure, but now I'm definitely like I confident. I confident in exactly what I want to do and where I trying to take music and just do for the Virgin Islands music, Virgin Islands culture itself. You know what I mean? It's still a lot of work to be done. I'm not much of a political person, but um, for the most part, I am very, 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 very happy that there's people like Miss Sarauw and the younger senators in that that coming up and just we deserve a try. At least allow us allow them to make their mistakes, allow them to to get their feet wet, you know what I mean, and actually start to get things done. We just need some new faces. So I mean, to all the new senators, anybody you thinking about running for the Senate, you're thinking about being a musician, you're thinking about getting into politics, you're thinking about becoming a fireman, getting into real estate, yo, I really feel like you need to chase that, go after that, study, research, and stick with it, man, because we need it. Ain't even about want at this point. It's like we literally need it at this point. You know what I mean? We need fresh faces, we need fresh and new ideas. We need young, energetic people that are ready to make moves and make the Virgin Islands a better place. Like for real. Like I literally feel like we supposed to be like the number one Caribbean. We come on, you know what I mean? Like we supposed to be the number one Caribbean island. That's just how I feel. You know what I mean? We supposed to be like that's supposed to be us. Like cause you don't need a passport to come from here to come to here from the US. You know what I mean? It's like you get your driver's license, you could just fly and come to paradise. You know what I mean? So it's like we have so much pros and cons and different stuff. Is like, yeah, we gonna always have the bad in it, but we have way more good, like to kind of piggyback off of and say, you know what, let's try to strengthen our good, you know what I mean, and not really focus on the bad stuff. So anybody, like I said, you young, you up and coming, you trying to get into exactly what the four of us or the five of us are dealing with when it comes to like I said, becoming a fireman, getting into politics, becoming a musician or real estate. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, we need a lot more of that. We need a lot more of that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
Well, yeah, that was really good. You touched on a lot of important things. I want to touch on, I always say college isn't for everybody, but education is. So, whatever your interest is, whatever your dreams are, do your research, do your part, just do your work, hard work always pays off. It doesn't always pay off overnight, but, it's always going to pay off. So I'm glad you touched on that. But one of our sharers on the live, Nakira, she mentioned that we need more apprenticeship.
Mhm.
So, I hope that that's something that, maybe this is the start of it, maybe this is the beginning of that, but we have to pass the torch. Like Swank said, we have to do something to kind of, to get ahead. I feel like we have so much potential. I feel like our students, our young people, even our older folks, like you look at what they've made, like even St. John, you see, who created it and what they created it from. It's just like, I just feel like we could do so much more. So I guess we have to see, I don't know where, where's the start? Where do we start with that?
It's kind of hard to say where you would start with it. I know for a fact, within the real estate industry, we have a shortage when it comes to surveyors. We have
Yeah.
a shortage when it comes to appraisers. There's a shortage when it comes to home inspectors. So as he was, talking about when it comes to the kids going in, instead of going into college, that is an option, but the trades is also, you could be successful in any trade. And we have family members that's plumbers, we have family members that's like electricians, and they're doing well. I think we need to, as a Virgin Islands, we need to, push that out there, that there's more to the islands than just tourism. I feel like we need to have, and it needs to start in the schools. I've noticed that a lot of the trades have been taken out of the schools, which is surprising to me, because that's how I gained some my industry, my career. I started out in high school in Charlotte. I was on the job training, and that's just my start of my career. So I feel like that needs to be put back into the schools. I feel like trades need to be put back into the schools, definitely.
Definitely.
I mean, we could push tourism all the time, but at the same time, we need to also let our kids know that they can be successful in other businesses outside of tourism.
Right.
I feel like tourism is the easiest way to go because it's what we know how to do. You know what I'm saying? Anything else is kind of like, yeah. Anything else is kind of foreign to us, and it's gonna take time to build and get it right. But we got to start sometime. You know what I mean? We got to start working and getting these, working on different avenues to like you said, push the Virgin Islands, man. Besides tourism, like tourism, I feel like that will always be number one, but we gotta prepare a 2 or 3 or 4 and make sure that those are strong, just so if tourism, like what Miss Sarauw said, like if the pandemic hit and we can't have people traveling to the islands now, we need to be able to make, to sustain amongst ourselves, whether is through the different trades and different stuff like that. So I mean, I are for it, man. Like we need to definitely get that back in the school and start pushing that as like something that's mandatory. You know what I'm saying? If we can.
If I may interject, there's a career technical board that we just filled the vacancies for, and they've been trying to be on the move with VOCAD. You still have on-the-job training with the business program, because we had a few of them within this office, about 4 or 5 of them since I've been in office. And then we passed a free trade zone for the South Shore of St. Croix. When you're looking at government, you can't always look from a local perspective, but you have to have a global mindset. And in 2006, the Panama Canal began to expand. It began an expansion so they could have the Panama ships come through the canal. And with that, it forced Miami to dredge its harbor, Louisiana to dredge their harbor. The Bahamas built a transshipment port, and the Gulf of Paria had a transshipment port that's in Trinidad. And the reason why we were bought in the first place was to be a protector to the Panama Canal in 1917 following World War I, with the German U-boats and the activity in the Atlantic Ocean, and the Panama Canal began its construction then. So we can't forget history. So when we look at that, we were able to move a free trade zone that would hopefully bring a transshipment port to the South Shore of St. Croix. So whether or not you have a hurricane, a pandemic, you still have to have a constant exchange of goods. And if you look at a map coming from the canal straight over, the closest island is St. Croix. And St. Croix is in a perfect position, is actually poised for that transshipment to happen. And then, of course, ships leave to go to the Americas, to Africa, to the Caribbean, to the United States. So that's one of the industries that we are looking for, and also to bring back the light pharmaceutical manufacturing companies that St. Croix once had. And for a clean kitchen as well. You have so many people that cook from food vans and everything else. When you go to North Carolina, they have a clean kitchen where you could go in the mornings and you could cook your food and, produce whatever. Because when you go, cruise ships come here. And one time they were like, Santa, sorry, we could find some fish. I was like, how much fish you need? And they had a Caribbean night on the ship, but they couldn't find fish. I had to go to like 5, 6, 7 different fishermen to provide them with fish. Look at our pepper bottles. That should be made in mass amounts to export. these are things that we move that bill, but all we could do is move the bill. Now that gives the governor the authority to negotiate, because he has the ability to be like, here now you have the authority to do such. So go ahead and do that because the governor negotiates and we ratify. I wanted to add to the conversation with SWANKS with that whole diversification and Andretti and ways to move the economy forward. Of course, tourism is one, but you need to have those other sources of revenue. And then you could have those guys lifting cranes, walking cranes, the forklifters, you have the women in the business office, even girls out there doing that type of stuff. There's so, if you go to the port of Miami, Miami is so busy. Besides catching a cruise ship from the port of Miami, you've seen a lot of activity happening. Your cars getting shipped from Miami, so many different things. So that's what we really envision for St. Croix. On our South Shore, so the free trade zone was established by this body in the last Senate session. And we worked on that for about 5 years. It was a pretty intense bill. It's about 20-something pages long, but it's a good bill.
Let me jump in there was a mentorship program that was run through the St. John Community Foundation a few years back. And we had a student, Mr. Alec Thomas, that was he was job shadowing on the car ferry. And right now, he's a captain on that ferry. Mentorship is very another aspect that we could look at to help guide our youth to these career paths. I was waiting on the car ferry, like I said, and Ali comes in and he's a captain on the ferry and he used to play basketball with me. A couple minutes later, Port Authority car pulls up, Master gets out, Kaylen Thomas, another one of my basketball players, didn't go to college but has a good government job. And then 5 minutes later, big truck. Later in spot on the badge left, I say this man can't get his truck in this late time. But Brian Christopher Jr., another one of my basketball players. I felt that was a real proud moment for me. 3 young men that I watched grow up, productive young men in the community, won't get in trouble and they didn't go to college. So mentorship is another aspect that we could use for our young people as well.
I definitely agree. Especially like Kareem Boynes, he's on the live. He's actually talking about your dial-up connection sauce. But you know, he sailed the big red barge down from New Orleans. That was his first time sailing, you know, that type of vessel. You know, he'd been a captain from time he come out his mother womb, but you know, and then you have all these guys that came up under you and you know that are kind of taking over, and I think sometimes they don't get the recognition of their accomplishments. And I mean, I just feel like we're so powerful and we're so smart and we're so skilled, so it's just, I'm excited to see, you know, what we could do. I just feel like sometimes I don't know if it's the mindset that we're brought up with, but I was telling somebody the other day that we were raised to work and not to own. So, you know, I don't know, but we have to do. Sherman is on the live. He said that mentorship is essential. So I guess we have to maybe put ourselves out there a little bit more and take on that responsibility to kind of, I know Sas, you are like king mentor, you know, but you know, Swanks, I'm glad that you mentioned that, you know, your goal is to, you know, pass the torch and kind of start paving that lane. So, you know, we gonna hold you to it. And we just have to do more. We have to do more because we have so much potential, and we have big shoes to fill as well. So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, so Swanks, I heard you said that, you know, you're ready for the next level. Give us a idea of what the next step is.
Well, the next step for me, like I say, you know, hopefully by 2021, I get an opportunity to sign a couple of young producers and artists, up and coming artists, you know what I mean, and get them get their feet wet you know what I mean, in the industry, and get them to work with certain people. Because trust me, like these, you have some talented musicians out here that they just don't ain't have a chance. They just ain't getting a chance, you know. So um and even down to I mean, anything I could do, to be honest with you, my goal is just to find different ways to create opportunity. That's why I want to kind of do. I feel like besides my popularity when it comes to music and impact in music, or whatever the case may be, like I feel like like I could do a lot more when it comes to just being an outlet, you know what I mean? Like being somebody just to do stuff like this, you know what I mean? Like this ain't really have nothing to do with music, you know what I mean? But I know for sure like somebody listening, and like what he's saying could probably resonate with them, and bring a positive vibe and allow them to wake up and feel like, yo, I man, I gonna do it, you know what I mean? And it's just like you need more stuff like this. You need a lot more stuff like this. You need a lot more just opportunities, period. So I mean, in the future, of course, I want to build my career and get my name out there, you know what I mean? Hopefully I could work with bigger artists. I have some music supposed to drop for Trinidad Carnival, but it got canceled. But I so we still deciding if we gonna drop them or not. But um for the most part, I definitely making moves for myself, you know what I mean, as a producer. You know what I mean? The sky's the limit for Big Band and Virgin Islands music on a whole, man. And I was blessed with the opportunity to experience like Uber Soca cruise, and I saw the Virgin, how the Virgin Islands just like take over. So like that was the eye open. That showed me that, like, I mean, ain't even about the 100,000 people or 120,000 people that live here. You have a whole ton load more people that used to live here. You know what I mean? And that live away and different stuff like that. So it's like at the end of the day, it's like we definitely outnumber. I wouldn't say outnumber because they probably have more people, but like in these soca parties and the different events I perform to, is like the Virgin Islands always either the most people or second or third. It's like we ain't low in numbers, you know what I mean? We would definitely come out, we would represent, you know what I mean? So I feel like we need to feed off of that. That allow me to understand that like we could do it, man. We could do it. We just need to love and appreciate what's ours, like how the other islands love and appreciate what's theirs. That's most important. Like we need to be proud of Virgin Islands, man. Like what I mean, the song might not be the best, but still it's from home, you know what I mean? And if you get the opportunity to play on this radio station, just love it, you know what I mean? Push it, because you may not get an opportunity again, you know what I mean? And it's a lot of, I feel like Virgin Islands culture, part of Virgin Islands culture, which is a part I don't really like, is a part where is like we like to kind of follow, like, I want to say follow, meaning like I feel like we don't we quick to kind of just criticize and bring down our own, you know what I mean? And kind of just like follow the trend of like, yeah, if it's song weird, it's song weird, but guess what? It's ours, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I feel like once we get more pride, you know what I mean, in our music and in anything we do, period, basketball, like you have so much young basketball players, Romani and these guys, Raheem Christmas, and it's like we have athletes, you know what I mean, they doing big things, you know what I mean, they out there, but then they don't really have the Virgin Islands backing, you know what I mean, until they actually make it to the NBA is when they're going to actually get a little love from us, you know what I mean? But until then, it's like these people need to be in the newspaper. They need to get shown some love. We need to give them some motivation, to allow them to keep doing it, you know what I mean? And sometimes you wonder why people would go and don't come back home and stuff like that. But it's easy to do that because it's like, I don't study us anyway, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we as a people, we just need to change that mindset, man, and start supporting and start loving and appreciating. Support local businesses. You know what I mean? Push Virgin Islands culture anywhere you go. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed, because what's ours is ours. They don't have to understand it. It ain't their job to understand. A lot of us, we like Afro beats, we like African music. We don't know what they're saying. We just like our song. Real talk. And we like the fact that they like it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like we just gotta love our thing, treat our thing with respect, you know what I mean? Push what's ours and work together and unify, man, and let's uplift the youth, man. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're the elder and you watching this live right now, please don't give up on the youth, man. Please, I begging you, please. I remember going to events and it would have adult presence that would, you know what I mean, kind of stop the violence and stop the little fights and stuff that might happen in a jam and different stuff like that in an event. Like any other kid, he had an elder there that would watch you with a little screw face and you would cool out. Or that could be like, son, I cool out, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And I feel like the elders giving up on the youth, you know what I mean, to a part like they feel like they can't mix and mingle. And I understand, wherever I do understand why, I just want them to understand as well that they are a big part as to why things going haywire. You know what I'm saying, in a sense, because there's no adult present. You know what I mean? It's like you go out right now and adults free to go out. The elders free to go out and mix and mingle, but they don't understand how them like actually being there used to create peace, you know what I'm saying, and would create order and just make people like act right, you know what I mean, just seeing an adult there like me ain't about to mess around them old people. So if you have somebody over there want to fight, me ain't about to fight them, or whatever the case may be. That used to be a thing, you know what I mean, and it getting worse because the adults ain't mixing with the young people. You can't put cool session and big band in the same car, which is crazy because in St. Kitts and in Trinidad and in all these other places in Angola, you could mix young and old, and you could have down to 12-year-olds in an event with 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds, you know what I mean? And they mix in, and that's why they could have 4,000 people at an event and 5,000 people at an event. And we were struggling to get 1,000 people. Big band like Kes coming and barely any people showing up because what? If young people go, old people ain't gonna go. And if old people go, young people feel like they can't go. And it's just a weird, segregated vibe that going on, you know what I mean? And they have a lot of work to do, man. They have so much work to do. And I like I said, I gonna do what I can. I have for bringing the Virginians together and making it to a part is like, this supposed to be easy. And when I say easy, meaning like it's supposed to be like smooth, man. Not like easy as in like we ain't got point work, but like it shouldn't be this difficult to be one, you know what I mean, and be united, you know what I mean. So hopefully in the future I could do what I try to do or what I bring to the table, you know, helps to create that environment to where, you know, young and old can mix. Cause I ain't gonna never give up, you know. You're gonna see me 40-year-olds and you're gonna see me in them same jam because I know how crucial it is for me to be there for real. I ain't going there to bet, and you don't have to be going there to wild out. You don't even have to really like the music, but just understand that your presence being there is needed. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely needed, and it helps. You know what I mean? It helps. At this point, I feel like the young generation feel like the adults has given up on them, which is why it's hard to get them to vote, which is why it's hard to get them to do certain things, act right. You know what I mean? Like these kids ain't riding bike no more and out there playing basketball and I rather they ain't falling and getting caught up like us. I get so much cut from falling and rollerblading and doing all kind of crazy stuff. These children ain't getting them kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Because I just feel like the opportunity ain't there for them, you know what I mean? But hopefully we could present those opportunities and we could continue pushing the youth forward, man. That's my main focus. My main focus is I know I about to be 30 next year, which I mean to some people it might still be young, but for me it's like, yo, I'm making 30. I need to start making my grand retirement or whatever the case may be. I need to make my way out, you know what I mean, and give these young guys a chance, you know what I mean, to do what I can't do, you know what I mean, or what I could do, but it would be better delivered through them. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's just my goal, man. Hopefully that's my goal to really bring up the youth and to just build infrastructure to a part. Like, you know, the music of the Virgin Islands could be as a form of income too. I just want the Virgin Islands to feel like the Virgin Islands music, to have some respect for it. You know what I mean? I feel like they don't understand carnival is a thing, you know, like they don't understand how much Trinidad carnival they make. I don't think that we understand what carnival to do and what music to do. Like music could be pushed just like tourism. We could get just as much people here for Big Band, for Poison, for Pompa, for Adamo, for, you know what I mean? We could bring in tourism through these bands. So, I mean, hopefully they could see us as more of a asset, you know what I mean, in the future. And we could work together to where we work hand in hand, you know what I mean? So, yeah, the sky's the limit, man. I have for the VI, I have for one VI, and hopefully, you know what I mean, we get things done. You know what I mean? Sorry for the speech.
If I may interject briefly, SWANKS should send me a postcard for establishing the division of festivals. One, I just
Uh-huh.
that was a vision when you talk about bands and stuff. I made an impassioned speech on the floor to get a bill through to establish division of festivals, because marketing your culture is very important. And when you go to conferences, people, their concern is coming to the territory, but the product is old, the product is stale, because all we're doing is selling a bunch of jewelry. You're gonna be you pass the first 3 stores, you see the whole of Main Street. When you go to Cruise Bay and you go to the right, and you see the first 2 stores, you're still selling more jewelry. And that can be the product of the VI. I also wanted to comment on, I'm a Division 1 athlete, full scholarship, volleyball, national team basketball. I could have gone either or basketball, volleyball, or music.
Easy.
Yeah. So, you know what, King Queen in your own home, and I have played at top schools. I played across the wall, and you know, we brought home the gold. I think it was for basketball in the CARICOM games, and then, you know, I've been to Suriname and stuff, and I was still with Pryor on the sidelines in my volleyball uniform, basketball uniform, and the anthem is being played. And then when you out in other people's country terrorizing them, winning, the Daily News or other sources, you know, there's no record of it. There's no coverage, and it's incumbent upon us. I know Andretti spoke about various trades, but journalism have to be one. People are telling our story, and they don't look like us. So there's a danger in a singular story when you have it from one perspective, one person, and the media does not really care. So I would see articles, like I would go on the Sunday floor and say one thing, and then you read the paper, it says something completely different. It says senators want to give themselves raises, but that's not how the hearing went. So you have people coming to kill the Senate that look like you, thinking that you out, that there's some level of self-aggrandizement. So, you know, journalism should be one of the majors that our people should look at. We should think about starting our own newspaper. We have to tell our story. We have to craft our narrative, and we have to push us. And the last point was, you touched on support. And I coming from, no matter how busy I am, I have a Mukujumi troop called Culture Shack. Because I've been a Mukujumi since I was 6 years old. And I have a nonprofit volleyball program, and I still coach Charlotte Amalia High School's varsity volleyball team. That's my way of giving back. And I am exhausted of coaching, and we want the older people to support. But I can't even get a parent to a game. And Clarence could tell you that. You know, and then you turn into the bus, you're taking them home. I have coached children for years, athletes for years. I don't even know what the parent look like, what the father look like. I have been a teacher, a US history teacher in CEHS, and you can't find a parent for a report card, you can't find them for progress reports, but take the cell phone from them. A parent will appear, you know? So we want support from that end, but the village has to be present. And the village is absent. Parents have to parent. And no amount of legislation, no amount of anything is going to change that. You know, we have to understand the importance. And then the last point was, you touched on something, I would say, it's colonialism. The way that we look at ourselves. A perfect example, you know, you have Plessy versus Ferguson, and then came a Supreme Court case called Brown versus the Board of Education in 1955 that called for the integration of schools, because before then schools are segregated. And the case fought by Thurgood Marshall of the NAACP, how they won the case was they took a Black child and they would say, hey, of these dollies, which are the prettiest? And the Black child would choose a white dolly. So it showed the psychological impact of segregation. And a child in the Supreme Court ruled that segregation was illegal and now schools must be integrated. When you look at the impact of colonialism, and St. John lives it, you know, just to get a school, you have to go swap a whole key. And that makes sense? You already have the whole island, the national park taking your land, and then you telling me to build an area to create a generation of critical and analytical thinkers. I must give you a key. You can't give me land because Rockefeller took lands that did not belong to him. It belonged to Virgin Islanders, ancestral St. Johnians, and talking about he gifting it to the national park. If he wanted to give something back, you give it back to the people from which you took it from. So we have this concept, and the impact of slavery and colonialism has caused this level of infighting. We believe that, I said in the Senate every day, oh, call the feds. What are the feds going to do for you? And when we keep saying call the feds, we are saying to ourselves that we are incapable of saving ourselves. And the people on the screen here today have enough sense to save the Virgin Islands. So too often we look for everybody else outside to do it for us, and we need to find the political will, we need to find the intestinal fortitude to save ourselves. So you know, at the end of the day, we have to go and look in the mirror and say, well, how do we contribute to society? How are we impacting society? How are we holding one another accountable? You know, so those are some of the key salient points I got from your topics or your conversation.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
And I like to touch on the supporting the youth part. Really and truly, like the senator said and SWANKS said, when you go at coach, mostly elementary, and when you come to the games, they barely get any parents there, one or two. And then if they do make it pro, that's when we want to start saying that they need to get back to the community, but the community wasn't there for them during the building up to that point. So we definitely have to encourage and support our youth. Our youth are the future. Like the senator touched on the land swap. It's very controversial. I know is needed because we do need a school in St. John. For too long, we have had to commute to St. Thomas. Rough water, rain falling, and walk to the door again. So I've lived that. So we definitely need a school. The land swap wasn't the best. It wasn't a fair deal in most people's eyes, but it is a step in the right direction because we do need that K-12 and St. John. All of us can't afford to send our kids to that private school, and we definitely need a school at St. John. But both SWANKS and the senator made some great points, and I agree with them. We definitely have to support our youth. Our youth is the future. We are always singing it, and then when it comes time to support them, the parents are not there. So we as a community have to do, like the senator said, the village has to raise the child. I know when I was growing up, I had Shino and Chapa. I mean, I know hundreds of children could tell you about Shino and Chapa, and I believe that's why I never had a father. My father was the estate. My mother was a single parent, but my village was strong. I had strong male role models. I had Chino Chapa. I had my uncle Warren. I had Uncle Winston. But our village was strong. So we definitely have to bring back the village. Not just when they're trying in trouble, but we have to be there to support them all the time. So that's just my take.
Okay. So those are good points too. Andretti, you want to say anything before I go to the comments?
I just wanted to say, you know, they all made great points. And I just wanted to touch a little bit of the senator when she mentioned the swap, the land swap. Here, Clarence, I feel like we need a school on the island, definitely. But I feel like it wasn't a fair swap.
Yeah.
But otherwise, back to the parents, I try to be there for my kids. I try to be there for my son when I put him in sports and stuff like that. But not every parent has the opportunity to do that because they're forced to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. And that's why I feel like there's a lack of presence when it comes to parents.
And so that's something, so we have Sherman Brown. He said, what would the panelists suggest could be done to foster intergenerational unity? And then we also had Ian Samuel. He touched on something that you just mentioned, and he said that, hold on, he said that cost of living is a big part of the no parent support issue because they're working 2 to 3 jobs may make it difficult. So to go to Sherman's point, I personally believe that I think that this is the start to fostering that, because I mean, look at the panelists. We have the silent beast, you know, we have a senator, we have a fire chief, we have a music mogul, like, you know what I mean? And so the fact that you guys are just offering your time to just have conversations, to give motivation, to give suggestions, whatever it is, I think that that's the start, and it shows other people that that they should be kind of doing the same. And we just have to step up. So that's just my part. I don't know if you guys...
Like, I know, just to touch a little bit more specifically on St. John, I know St. Thomas is probably not too far behind, but when it comes to long-term rentals on the island, it's really difficult. You know, we have such a shortage because there is so much, everyone just turned into short-term rentals. So we have that shortage, and then we also have the high rents. I think that's also playing a factor on why a lot of our parents are having to work triple and quadruple jobs to make the ends meet. So I think we need to start with our infrastructure and start with being able to find places where people could actually afford to either rent or even get their own homes. I don't know if a lot of our youth or our young adults are looking at purchasing property on St. John, but it's hard, and we don't have the inventory and the price tag when it comes to purchasing. And it hurts my heart all the time to, you know, see someone coming in and wanting to purchase a home and they can't, because it's the rent, not the rent, but the sales price is too high for them and they can't afford it. So I think we need to somehow find a way to make it more affordable when it comes to living on St. John, in the Virgin Islands in general.
Yeah, I think affordable living is always, especially on St. John, because I mean, the little quarter that we have, you know.
Exactly. The national park owns 2/3 of the island. And, you know, that little percentage that we do have when it becomes, you know, the supply and demand, it's just, and we actually have companies that's still forming to get people to donate land to the national park, which, you know, that little small percentage is going down every time. So it's difficult, but.
What's also concerning is when you sit in a committee of the whole and you see people come before us. We have like a zoning hearing on St. Croix, St. John, like maybe 2 months ago. And you guys keep selling your land so people coming out testifying, don't touch the grave because the grave is sacred to this family. But how did this outsider end up with your land, with your family grave? What was the rationale? And then secondly, I get the whole parent working 2 and 3 jobs, but I believe, make it cute for this, but I believe it's a cop-out in some cases.
I do too.
It is.
I do too. I feel like you can make time for parade, you can make time for jam them. So
it's abused at times. I mean,
At times it is.
You know, it's abused.
We live Bodo. From our house, you can see vehicles. And I watched my mother drive every single day, and she left home at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to Idarakan as an assistant principal at Idarakan for 13 years. And my mother gave a directive. She put a fair guard in us, and we had to walk up at the bus stop and catch a bus at 6:30 in the morning, because if she dropped us off in school, it's still dark outside. And my mother would leave from Kent, drop all these students home. Some even live with us that were bad and not behaving. And she would, you know, act like we have a halfway house, and she would bring them in our house and care for them. And she would come home every single night. And we always had a hot meal. And then my father was the administrator under Governor Snyder and always had very demanding jobs. But I promise you, my mother made time. My father would make time. They would run away. And even if they couldn't stay for the entire game, she would pop in and be like, go, Jay, go, and cheer you on. And just to look up and see your mother, your father just wave at you, and you know that you see them for 10 minutes, they made the effort to come. The government gives you 2 hours a month to check on your child. We wrote a legislation called the Women, Children, and Families Act to strengthen the family, and that now has increased to 2 hours per month per child. So if you have 4 children, you have 8 hours in a month. You could show up to a game. Even if you miss some games in the season, that's okay, but you can't go through the whole time never having seen your child play. Parents don't even know how great their children are because they've never taken the time to see them play. So this whole, and then our economy is far better now than our parents' economy. My grandmother used to work in some little factory making watches, raising 7 children in ghettos. So my father, 7 of them in a 2 or 3 bedroom home, but she was still able to instill in them the importance of an education. And when I say education, I don't mean college. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's my father have a training, being a mechanic, going to the army, wherever your niche is, there was a need to be successful. There was a need to move out and to become better than her. She instilled that. So to tell me 2 and 3 jobs now, even if you can't make it, you had our grandparents who were peeing in outhouses, using outhouses as a bathroom, and then they still made productive citizens. We see, look at the Penn family. Mr. Penn started from nothing, and you raise a generation of good people. So this whole, it goes on to what type of value you instill in your child. What everybody 200 jobs. They get stressed out when I hear that.
But I feel like, to be honest with you, the cost of living is a lot different. And specifically on St. John, there's government agencies that people work for, but then there's also a lot of private companies that people work for. And those 2 hours that they're taking off, they're losing money for that day. In the government, yes, I could see if you're working for a government office and you take off 2 hours, you're still getting paid for it. But someone that's working for a private company don't have that luxury at times.
I wanted
But
just
go ahead. Sorry.
Just passed the law. The governor just signed it into law. 2 hours per month per child. The governor just signed it like 2 days ago. I think that was in a comment. I don't want to.
Hopefully, it would change.
Also, I wanted to touch on, even like when I was growing up, my dad, I played softball, was a cheerleader for football, and my dad probably came to 1, but I had my godfather, my aunt, so even if I feel like we have to fill in the gap, we need, and just like Swanks touched on before, like the older folks used to come to watch, even if they didn't, it could have been their son's friend or, their nephew classmate, but they were there because, like, think about it in general, we used to have the baseball games, like everybody was there. It doesn't matter who was playing, we were going to support St. John. So, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes we find so many excuses, and we have to do better.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know.
And a great substitute for the parents not being there is like Janelle say, Sarauw say, at the end of the day, journalism, like the newspapers and stuff, just gotta show up, you know what I mean? And that could be a substitute, whereas I know I gonna make it in the newspaper if I play good, so I gonna play good. It's a little motivation for the kids and for the youth to feel like they have a reason to go in. So you might not have your parents there or whatever the case may be, but it's still a little. I feel like it can't have everybody can't miss it. You know what I mean? Like it can't have nothing on record because there's no kind of journalism there, no newspaper, no magazine, no kind of outlet there recording like, yo, you don't reckon won this championship or anything. It's like nothing at all. It can't have nothing at all. Like that's just my thing. Is like if the parents can't be there, okay, cool. Then you could say, family, friends, and godparents, different stuff. Okay, they can't be there. Okay, at least we could get some media outlets there to kind of like give these kids some kind of push, some kind of motivation to feel like, yeah, they want to do it. Because if you don't have no kind of incentive at all, like no reason to do it, like at the end of the day, it's like, first of all, your game's empty. It's like, what you doing it for? You know what I mean? And they're gonna just make you want to quit, you know, make it easier to quit in a sense, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be that easy, especially if these kids love what they're doing. I mean, I know how unfortunate it is sometimes for parents to be multiple places at the same time. So I understand that. But same ways, like I say, like it's for the village now to come and replace, you know what I mean, and kind of just substitute for the parents. When this parent can't be there, you know, you have other parents in the stands cheering for you and different stuff like that. So we just gotta work together. You gonna all boil down to that, like working together and kind of coming together as one and understanding that like we all have to push one agenda and push the Virgin Islands, man. That's ultimate.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, because like my little sister, she goes to IMG Academy in Florida, and I used to make it to her games. So I kind of, when people would give me excuses like I had to walk and your child game is around the corner or across the street, like, you know, I ain't trying to hear it, you know. And if it is, then call me up or call Swanks. Hey, you know, little man, she playing tonight. I need you to be to the game. You know what I mean? Like it. And that's the thing. I feel like I shouldn't even have to make that call because these are things that should be publicized that we should be attending regardless. There's a basketball game. It don't matter who's playing. We're going because we need to support. Like I feel like that's how it was before, and now we kind of lost our way.
Well, look, you know, now that we have the pandemic,
Listen, when my daughter Kalia was in she was going sorry.
no,
My
you
daughter
got
Kalia went high school in California, and he failed. Our coaching Gifel at the time, we had just made the championship. And I had already made promises that I was coming to her last game. And I went to my daughter last game and forget about the championship. We did win the championship, but my daughter came before winning a championship. And parents, we have to put our children first. We have to let our children know that we take no matter what. I travel, you know, California is about 7 hours. I get it the next day, you know what I mean? But I made sure I would get, and I had my phone and I was watching the game live and I was texting the coach who was coaching for me. He said, do this, do that, but I had to be there for my daughter
Yeah. And
last game. So we didn't make priorities for what we want. Like you say, if you were parade and stuff, you would have provisions. So we definitely have to be there for you.
yeah.
definitely.
The audience, please forgive me. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. A lot of people were commenting saying that the property taxes are a killer. Ian Samuel said we have to use federal recovery money to build or infrastructure and develop workforce. We have Elroy Hill. He said that local families over the years have gave up so much land to the park. Land for school from the park should have been a no-brainer. Shaniqua Terrell, she said that people can't afford to pay property taxes to keep the land that was passed down, which I agree. Sorry, just trying to fill you guys in. Let's see. I agree, Senator. I made time to show up. So a few games, steel pan performances, nothing sweeter for parents and children than to share that experience. Okay, it's a lot of comments. We can't catch up to all, but that's basically the gist of it. So what about Andretti? What do you think, Andretti and Janelle, about the property taxes? What's your views on that?
I personally, I feel like, just to touch a little bit on, I think what Shaniqua stated, a lot of people did end up losing their land because of that, because they had no other choice but to sell off what they had in order to pay for, to keep what where they're living right now. And that happens because of the generations. A lot of people don't pay their taxes when they're supposed to pay their taxes. So it kind of accumulates and builds up, and the next person that in that family line to get the property can't afford to pay for those property taxes. I think that right now, as far as our property taxes, it's the lowest. when it comes to the states.
Okay.
I personally feel like a lot of the properties have been valued at a higher number. The assessed value has been valued higher, but as far as the percentage or the rate that we're paying, it is lower than most places.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I think, yeah, you're right. We pushed for like a circuit breaker and we added more exemptions to property for St. John than the rest of the territory. So we added a circuit breaker clause on property, and you're right. We see so many cases, especially when our family comes to me, where their family didn't pay property taxes for like 10, 15 years. And then by the time the third or fourth generation person wants to, you know, do something with the land, you so far in arrears that it's hard to catch up. But like it goes back, I don't mean to say colonialism so much tonight, but you know, like, you know, Totola have a belonging status, and in the territory, you can't tell somebody that that's an American citizen that they can't come and, you know, come in their area. And look at Peterborough, St. Thomas, look at, what name, St. Peter's? Peter Bay?
Peter Bay.
Good. Peter Bay. And they commandeer those areas because of it was on capitalism. And what drives the economy. Look at FEMA. When FEMA came down after the hurricanes, they threw up the entire market. When FEMA is paying those exorbitant rates for rent, and they were paying, you know, and people with homes were cashing in because FEMA was paying you way more than $1,200 a month. And when you have a mortgage, you're going to put a person out that live in your house and take a FEMA contractor. So, but I also believe that two things are missing here. One, efforts from the delegate to Congress. The Congresswoman has to give a push in Congress for the situation in St. John. And I'm always in St. John because St. John bothers me to no end. I talk about it a lot. The fact that I just continue to see ancestral St. Johnians being pushed off of their land and land rights. I hold near and dear to me. Your situation is to me like the Native Americans when you put them on a reservation and say that this is where you are going to live. And the second point too is the Lieutenant Governor's office. If I was Lieutenant Governor, because he deals with property matters, I would have deployed a task force solely to deal with the situation in St. John. I would have deployed my best and my brightest attorneys, anybody with expert in land rights. We would have found lobbyists to go on Capitol Hill and to fight till the last breath in me to make sure that you don't lose your land. So even if you are in arrears for 15, 20 years, as a government, we have to make sure that we can put a payment plan that you can afford to keep your land. Because when you lose your land, then we lose a piece of the Virgin Islands. You give it to somebody else who may not be from here, who has no care, and they don't understand how sacrosanct that land is to us. And you see time and time again, you see this level of cultural reappropriation over and over and over by people who don't have any respect for VA culture. So I think on two ends, from the delegates and the Hill and from the Lieutenant Governor's end, a greater push should be done, but we don't really talk about it. It's like this issue that we complain about in our little enclaves, but we don't really like, it should be a prevailing issue, just like crime, on the forefront.
I couldn't agree more.
Even when you go to St. John recently, you have all these illegal construction taking place with no permit.
Don't get me started.
You know, it gives me indigestion. I mean, and these are things that we could fix.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna touch on that because you know, Senator, that you know what the struggles that we're dealing with, even just here at the foundation. So that's a whole nother live session. But Jalik, she said, Senator is hitting it right on the head. You're so right, and I can't agree with you more. Shakima Jones Sproul, she said that she had to go into her retirement she had to go into her retirement to save her family property due to decades of her family not paying. Shaniqua said that there is no support that I know of from the government. When times like these come across, what angers me is that property tax delinquency is public knowledge and the outsiders are able to swoop in and take care of the delinquent taxes and become the property owners.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I feel like that's a whole nother life because we'll be here all day. But I don't know where we would start to even change that, you know. So. All right. Well, I see I've had you guys for going on 2 hours. So I want to thank you so much for your time. I think the conversation was great. I appreciate everything. I think that this is the beginning to something great, and I'm excited. So I will see you guys sometime next month, Senator. Okay, you see how I slide in right there? So I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to mention. I'll turn it over. Oh yes, once use the host.
I can do my job at the end. So I definitely had an amazing time, you know what I mean? Speaking and listening as well, learning with you guys, you know what I mean? All amazing people. And, give thanks to everybody for tuning in. And big up the whole Society 340 team, you know what I mean? UDR, you know what I mean? Thanks for reaching out. I always down to do stuff like this, you know what I mean? Because like I say, need more of it. And with 2 hours of my time, this is definitely worth it, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mind at all. Again, push for your goals, you know what I mean? Go after your dreams, man, and let's uplift the youth. And let's try to just be, you know what I mean, push the Virgin Islands forward, you know what I mean? We definitely have the potential to be, like I said, to be elite, you know what I mean, be the number one Caribbean destination, you know what I mean, like in the world. Like, so for me it's like the sky's the limit. Let's just utilize what we have and let's just push and evolve and be amazing, man. Like that's the most I could say. Like, I have new music coming out soon. So just follow my pages. I am marvelous on every single social media. I am marvelous. That's marvelous without the O. That's on every social media. So follow me, keep up to date on the music, Virgin Islands music, and just follow my journey. And thanks for the support. You know what I mean? Senator, thanks for everything. To you, Clarence, you know what I mean? Thanks for everything as well, you know what I mean? And Andretti. I might be coming to Andretti to learn a few things because she
No
seems
problem.
like she seems like she get a sauce for real over there. But yeah, man, thanks for everything you guys are doing in the community and whatever you guys plan to do. I definitely am grateful for you guys and yeah, man, one VI for sure.
All right. Any last words from the silent beast, Andretti?
Just a little bit encouragement to anyone that's wanting to be in the real estate industry or, just your friend starting on a new business. Always surround yourself with positive people. That positive energy will pretty much help you in your career. And that's basically it. I think everybody, as far as us here on the panel, is a great team to make changes and make things happen. So
Awesome. Sauce?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Senator Sarauw, SWANKS, Andretti, good luck with everything you guys do in the future. SWANKS are like that one VA, but definitely we have to come to them, the youth and stuff. and we just gotta keep pushing. I think together we could make it work. Everybody stay safe. Thank you. I'm sorry about the bad internet.
That's Carol Bay. I mean, you and Swanks at this point in the same place, because Carol Bay just as far as St. Croix, but that's another life too. Senator?
I just wanted to, encourage people to watch Islands. I know people are still without unemployment checks, struggling, still no roof over their homes. But we are a resilient people. And our motto says, united in pride and hope, the audacity of hope. So I want us to just, we're going to sink, we're going to swim, we're going to float together, but don't lose hope. You could be angry. You're allowed to be angry, you're allowed to be upset, but we're not allowed to give up. So I wanted to end on that note, and do not give up.
Thank you. Thank you. Andretti, thank you so much. Senator, I mean, I want everybody to know, like, I don't ever have to ask twice. Anytime I reach out, she's always there. She has a special place in her heart for St. John, and that means so much. Anything that has to do with the youth, St. John, I mean, just us, VI period. She always shows up and shows out. So I appreciate you so much. What's the number? I already vote, so I can't remember the number. What? Help me out. 38. Wait, I don't. Okay. Wow. I went to school. I promise. Number 13. But no. All jokes aside, she's genuine, and I appreciate that. So, thank you so much, Senator. Sas, you always. I mean, you are like the definition of community support. You're always there. You show up. You show out, and you give your all and then some. So I appreciate you, anytime I call, you're always there. All of the fire guy, the whole fire squad, you guys are always just so involved in the community, especially community outreach. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate your whole team, all your efforts. And then our host, Swanks, who didn't know that he was the host. Swanks, we go way back, and I appreciate everything, even though I almost had to fly to St. Croix for you, because I just want everybody to know Swanks does not reply to texts.
I do. It's just WhatsApp, man.
Gosh. So, but I know that he was going to, once he say he gonna do it, he's gonna do it. And I think the conversations tonight were awesome. And I just want to let everybody listening to know that I personally am here for whatever you need. And if I can't help, I could connect you with, obviously, people who can. Andretti is here, Sas is here, Janelle is here, Swanks is here. So let's do this. The future is bright, and I'm so excited. We're smart, we're powerful. People shouldn't be going to St. Martin, Antigua, none of these places. They need to be coming to the VI. I
just want to make a plea for new young leaders. And I keep hearing people saying that it shouldn't be a career. Politics shouldn't be a career, right? And if you look at institutions of higher learning, you offering degrees in political science, international relations, in government, obviously it's a career. Ask Joe Biden, ask John Lewis, Elijah Cummings, and there is a need in this government for leaders who have backgrounds in government, history, politics. The Senate is really a place where you have to know your stuff, and you have to be able to understand budgets and read a lot. Binders are thick. And I find so often that the institution lacks capacity many times. And we think that the role of the Senate is to take pictures and just have all these photo ops, and it's really a lot of hard work. So I want to encourage any young person here today by watching this, or parents are watching it. If your child likes government or history, this office, we have given so many internships to show them the process. And we have a lot of young people that leave here and change their majors to political science. So I am just putting a plea out that if we are to move forward as a territory, there is a need for leaders with backgrounds in what I stated earlier. So that's my plea to them, and my office is always open 693 3577. And you can find me on Facebook. So thank you.
Amazing.
Well, there you have it. Say the number one more time. Let me put it in the chat.
340-693-3577.
All right. So
Child in school virtually and they're confused on their history, Caribbean history, US history, geography, anything in social studies, I am more than willing to give my assistance and tutor that child having come from the classroom.
wow. Well, you know, Sherman asked and there it is. So that's the start. So you guys reach out. We're here to help in any way, shape, or form. So I want to thank you guys again. This was awesome. Thank you for hanging in there with me, Swanks. I appreciate you guys. So I think that's all. We're gonna close out in a quick prayer, and then I will see you guys sometime next month, and we'll pick it up where we left off. All right.
Yes.
So thank you guys again. Everybody, bow your head, close your eyes. Dear Lord, we want to thank you in advance. I'm so excited. You exceeded our expectations. The conversation was great. I ask that you bless our plans, bless our community, bless our islands, bless our panelists, bless our viewers, and just we thank you again for a better tomorrow. And I hope that I pray that you keep us safe and prosperous until next time. Until then, amen. I stay blessed, give thanks.
Amen.
See you next time.
Amen.
All right,
Bye.
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.